Hey everybody, this is None Superior and welcome to another Payday 2 weapon review. Today I'm reviewing the UAR in Payday 2, also known as the UAR. Apparently this was based on a real-life shovel made in Sweden or something. Here are the stats for it. It's one of the earlier weapons that you unlock. You can see here with the iron sights, totally stock. The mods on it, I'm going to give it a meh. You get 6 mods for it, which is about the same as the AK's early ones, so you can't do a whole lot with it. Here are the mods you get. That one that's labeled extra, you can get a extra damage and stability, which is probably very useful for this. I'm going to give the stability a 12. As you can see here from the range test, it's kind of a spazzy gun. You're going to have a bit of a hard time controlling it, worse than the AK, starting AK, I'd say. Ammo loadout is good. At 120 rounds with 28 damage, which gives you the same loadout as the AK, starting AK. Here's the accuracy test. You can see it does pretty well. It's got a 14 accuracy, and I'm going to give it a rating of good. It's better than most of the assault rifles. Not as good as the long-range weapons, but it certainly does the job here in this rather medium-range testing environment. I'd say it does a considerable better job than the 12. And it's one of the reasons to get this weapon, I think, is the increased accuracy. Damage rating is good at 28, same as the AK, as I mentioned. Opens that door pretty easily. Opens that door pretty easily. So it does a pretty good job in that respect. Let's see how it does moving. Well, unfortunately, moving stability when shooting is not that good. Noticeably worse than the Car 4, noticeably worse than the starting AK. So if you're looking at this as an improvement over those two, you may be a little disappointed. I think this is more of a weapon for staying still and sniping, or at least shooting a little longer range than you would. But as you notice here, I start getting a little bit better keeping those rounds on that blue-white border line. So I think if you practice with this weapon a bit, you can get used to it. I'm also not keen on the iron sights on it, which is kind of weird because I actually kind of like the iron sights on the Corbus P90 thing, which looks about the same. Maybe they just bother me less on it because of the decreased recoil. As you can see here on the jewelry store, it does okay. I seem to have a hard time with those sights, I think. I think that's the biggest problem with it. I would get a sight modification on it, either a hollow or a surgeon sight or something on it pretty quick. Maybe even a professional's choice because it gives you a bit of zoom. As you can see, I do okay, but I don't know. I'm not really keen on this weapon. I played it for a bit. I prefer the AK as a starting weapon. I prefer the Car 4 for the modifications. I prefer the later JP36 just overall. But I do know from reading the forums that some people really like this weapon and they get all the mods on it and they think it's really great. So, you know, your mileage may vary, but as an overall review from me, I'd say pass, at least early on when you're having, you know, financial problems or you don't have a lot of mods to throw on it. You might want to save it till later. Try it out when you're sitting on boatloads of cash and weapon mods. So this has been None Superior. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to click like, subscribe, and share it on Twanker. And I don't know what the hell you do, these kids nowadays. Throw it at your friend's face, scream at him, say you should like you watch this. Don't shoot civilians. See ya!